Hello, Ramley and other NFL family, especially Broncos family. Today we are going episode 17 of MOOF. Apologize for a bit of a time delay. That's my mistake for miscalculating mountain time. But I am so honored to have none other than Brandon Perna here to represent the Broncos fandom from That's Good Sports. He has an amazing YouTube channel, one of my favorite channels on the tube. So definitely go check it out. And he just released an awesome video about the 2007 season. So make sure you go check that out. The Broncos are a really interesting team. Obviously, they have a new coaching staff in Nathaniel Hackett. They have a new quarterback in Russell Wilson. And some might say they were just a quarterback away from being a competitive team last year. We're going to talk to our guest today, Perna, about everything Broncos. So you want to make sure that you tune in right after my intro. And welcome in, Mr. Brandon Perna. How are you this morning, my friend?
Good. I clearly was ready and combed my hair for this.
Yeah, absolutely. You look great, man. Drinking his bench warmer brew, no doubt.
Last day for the discount. Big Dick Decade, benchwarmerbrew.com.
Absolutely.
Got the plug in early.
No,
did you tweet me the link?
The link to
to this video as it is live?
That would have been a good idea.
If you can do it at some point, I'll retweet it. So
awesome. Thank you. Yeah. We'll get into that here. Cool. But I would just love to, kind of a lot of our viewers, I know they love your channel. If you could maybe say, how did you become a Broncos fan? And, is your fandom, is that what kind of encouraged you to start your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it definitely was. I became a fan, as most people do, forced at gunpoint by my family. Everybody, my grandpa, my mom, they were probably the two biggest Broncos fans I knew early on. My dad, he is a Broncos fan, but he's the kind of guy when they're not playing well, he gets too angry to watch and just leaves, goes outside to do some yard work. So, I don't know if I ever had a choice. It's just, it was always around the house. The family liked it and I got into it. I played football young. And then when I lived in Los Angeles, a buddy of mine was a Chargers fan, John Na. And we just ended up talking about like football all the time. And we were working with other YouTubers and I just really enjoyed talking football and decided like all these other guys are doing different videos. Let me try and do YouTube, but talk about sports. And then I narrowed it down to the Broncos and had more success there and just leaned into it. And then that branched, kind of back out to trying to cover all of the NFL, which is a weird grind, but yeah. And now I'm excited for football again because we have a real quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And no doubt, you and many Broncos fans are finally excited to not have a question mark at that position, as it's been that way for quite a while. You've been riding the QB carousel. And as a Rams fan, I've ridden that carousel in the past before. So
yeah. The Rams give me a lot of confidence that Russ can come in and win a Super Bowl year one. Like I keep thinking like it's going to take a year to kind of really adjust, but Stafford went in there, got it right away. Of course, you guys had Von Miller too. I was really rooting for the Rams because of Stafford and Von Miller. I was so happy Von got one. And Stafford, I've always loved Stafford and thought he was like just really unfairly rated by football fans. And so for him to get a ring and to play well last year, amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I do see lots of people from the chat are excited that you're here with us today. So I will just shout out Silly Fun Guy, TuneLink Maine, the Rams Station, and Grandizer 12. Great to see you all in the chat. And everyone who's joining with us live, thank you for tuning in. And also, if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate that as well. We are going to get into this here, talking about the Broncos. But just before we do, Perna, I feel like this is a big question for the Broncos, but I ask this to every fan that comes on here. What are Broncos fans optimistic about heading into this season?
Oh, I mean, Russ. Danger Russ. Let's ride Wilson. I mean, oh my God. It's not just Russell Wilson. I mean, that's the big one, obviously. Like we
Yeah.
feel Broncos fans for the first time since Peyton Manning feel good about the QB situation. But also I think like Nathaniel Hackett coming in as head coach is a big change. I just did a podcast about like how bad things were with Fangio and Shermer,
Ugh, yeah.
and it was not good. And I
Yeah,
think,
the Rams used to have Pat Shermer. Those are bad years.
oh, yeah, I forget he was with you guys too. Like, yeah, he was horrible.
Everywhere he
Fangio,
goes.
nobody liked Fangio in terms of like the players, which I really didn't know. So I think just the optimism, the overall attitude in terms of from the top down is better. Players have a guy in Russell Wilson they believe in. So I just think I think we Broncos fans have gotten used to watching just really inept offensive football. The defense has been solid, very solid since Manning left, but after a while, if you're not getting, complimentary football from your offense, it's not good. So I think knowing we can maybe go into games and win with a lot of points, very exciting. We could score over 30 points multiple times this year. Holy heck. I'm just so ready. I'm so ready.
And I think it's exciting when your offense is on the field and you're not super nervous if they're going to convert a 3rd and 2. Like that's just, there's confidence in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's get into this here. We are. Thank you everyone in the chat who is joining us. You can predict alongside us in the chat. Put a W in the chat if you think the Broncos are going to win. Put an L in there if you think they're going to lose, and put a T in there if for some reason you want to predict a tie. Because
don't you dare put an L in here.
Well, the first game is a juicy one. It's a Monday Night Football primetime game. When Stafford played the Lions last year, I called that the breakup bowl. I think it's fair to call this the breakup bowl 2. You have Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos going into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. I know the Ram fans are going to be cheering on the Broncos here. Win or lose against Seattle.
Win, huge win. Russ goes into his old home, very comfortable there. The first series might be a little dicey, a little ugly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this first snap goes over his head, a la Peyton Manning in the Seahawks Super Bowl. But after that, he's going to beat the Seahawks in the way Pete Carroll always wanted to play football. The Broncos are going to run it 35 times, just down Seattle's throats, 200 rushing yards. Russ going to be incredibly efficient. Maybe even, I'm going to say he goes 19 for 20 for 220 yards and 3 touchdown passes. And Pete is just going to be wrecked that he was stupid enough, just asinine, to let go of a quarterback like Russell Wilson. And that's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for the Broncos and the Seahawks.
And you know what? That sounds like a dream scenario to start off.
Drew Lock throws 5 interceptions. All the Pat Surtain.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're starting off with a big win there, and then you have 2 home games coming up. The first one, you welcome in the Houston Texans. Any concern about a trap game or anything like that?
No. We'll blow Houston right out of the water. I do like Davis Mills. Okay, I think, the Texans are now officially added to the Deshaun Watson lawsuits. So, they're going to have some other things to be thinking about. Brett Coleman thinks they had a pretty solid draft, but I can't get excited about their roster. I do like Davis Mills, but they're going to be bad again. They'll be a bottom 5 team, I believe. Bottom 8, probably. Yeah. So I'm not worried about that game. Broncos win 45-7.
Fair enough. And I am seeing in the chat here, everyone seems to be in agreement with you. Broncos starting off 2-0. And then the Ram fans are going to be cheering you on again here. Another primetime game. You are welcoming in the San Francisco 49ers. Any concern about this?
Yeah, this game's going to be tough. San Francisco, always a good team. Don't know who their quarterback's going to be, so that's really hard to predict. Is it Trey? I probably feel better if it is Trey Lance than Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
It's the run game. San Francisco, they're going to have some guy back there we've never heard of, and he's going to be really good. Their defense, their secondary, I think the Broncos can take advantage of. It'll be a close game. I forget what did the Seahawks do against the Niners the last 2 years with Wilson? They won more or lost more?
I know in the NFC West, it's sort of the Niners beat the Rams. Rams always beat the Seahawks and Cardinals. And you know what? Yeah, Russell Wilson does well against the Niners.
All right, I'll give the Broncos the win. They're going to go 3-0.
Okay. And Broncos, Broncos Nation is riding, or Broncos Country is riding away.
Oh, yeah, we're galloping
to 3-0. And then your first divisional game of the year, you travel to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Yes. Easy win. A lot of people are excited about the Raiders, think they're going to be good because they got Josh McDaniels, because they got Devontae Adams, because they got Chandler Jones. Don't matter. They're the Raiders. They will find a way to mess it up. I think they'll be all right. Somebody has to finish last in the AFC West, and my money is on the Raiders. So not an easy win, but a decisive win for the Broncos. 30-20 in Las Vegas. 4-0.
Yeah, I do see Grandizer. He is predicting an L there, so there's some controversy with that.
Not gonna happen.
But then you got a short week here, and you're playing on primetime. You have a lot of primetime games early this year.
We're back in it. Broncos are back.
When was the last time the Broncos had more than one primetime game in a year?
Ooh. Well, 2020 was okay. Last year was the first year they were just axed from the prime time, except for the Thursday night game. And maybe they opened. Did they open on Sunday night or Monday night? They might have opened on Monday night. I forget.
Well, they're clearly one of the most interesting teams this year.
100%. I think Russell Wilson, I just saw his leading in jersey sales for 2022 right now. So,
you know what? That doesn't surprise me. And rightfully so, with Broncos fans being stoked about their new quarterback. So your Thursday night football, you welcome in the Indianapolis Colts, win or lose.
Man, I'm going to be at that game.
Cool.
And the last Broncos Colts game I went to, I watched Peyton Manning as a Colt just eviscerate the Broncos in the second half. I like Matty Ice in Indy. Thursday night football is always weird. And since I'm going to be at the game, I feel like it's bad luck. So I'm going to give the Colts the win there.
Okay, so the first L because you're in attendance. Hot take,
Yep.
Love it.
I will take full responsibility for that one.
Okay, that's not on Russ or coaching or anyone else.
No, they play a solid game. Just, Jonathan Taylor too. I'm working on a running backs episode right now, and spoiler, he's number 1, and I think he's going to be good again.
That's fair. I do see Silly Fun Guy, our first someone always predicts a tie every episode.
Okay, I'll live with the tie.
Predicting the tie there. I do see TuneLink Maine, who loves you and the clickbait crew, coming in with the L.
TuneLink's always in there.
So okay. So that's an L. But then you play another primetime game, this time on Monday Night Football. You are facing the one of the more hype teams of the offseason.
Oh yeah,
The
every
Los
off
Angeles
season.
the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, Broncos get a little extra rest that week going into that game. It's in LA, so it is a home game since they're playing the Chargers. I predict a win. I predict the Broncos win. Will be close, but I feel like the Broncos really have to take advantage of the first half of the season with their schedule because the way they finish is really tough. So I'm going to give them a win here for sure.
Okay, all right. So 5-1. That's a great start to the season. Okay, well, that's a big win on Monday Night Football against a division rival, and then you got a couple of home games here against some teams that maybe aren't as exciting as some of the teams you faced. You welcome in the New York Jets. On week 7, win or lose in that afternoon game.
Oh, that's a big win for the Broncos. Zach Wilson is going to set the record for most interceptions thrown in a game.
Wow.
And I'm a little more optimistic about the Jets, I think, than most people. Mm-hmm. And I like Zach Wilson. If I had to bet on a QB taking a leap in his second year of this last season's rookies, it's him. But it's going to be a rough day for Zach Wilson and the Jets in Denver.
Okay, that's fair enough. I do see a lot of no one's disagreeing with that in the chat. 6-1 on the year, and then week 8, this game's over in Germany, I believe, or London?
London. They're going to London for the Jags game.
London, right. So you are playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, as you like to call them.
Yes.
Win or lose? Any concern here?
No, I think Jacksonville will be a little bit better. Obviously, without Urban Meyer. I like Doug Peterson. Don't necessarily love him as the head coach. Yeah. Still don't trust Trevor Lawrence yet. Russ, I think he was just over in London building up the fan base there. I think they're just going to be ready for that game. It is, the Jags play over there every year. We think they'll be in London possibly at some point. But yeah, I'm not too worried about this game. I feel like it'll probably be a weird game, not necessarily a blowout, but definitely a win.
Okay. All right. So that 7-1 after 8 weeks. I think Broncos fans would love that. It's been a while since you've seen a record like that.
Yeah.
That does bring us to week 9, which is the Broncos bye week, which means it is time for
bye week hot takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
Yes, this is bye week hot takes. This is the segment of the show where we find 3 hot takes from all corners of the internet, Reddit, Twitter, random comment sections and Facebook groups about the team that we're talking about. Perna has not seen these hot takes, so he's going to be reacting raw to them. Brandon, the way this works, I'll bring the hot take up on screen, read it out, and then you react to it. Can you see the rationale behind it? I will say all 3 of these hot takes came from a Broncos Twitter space that was talking, and it's a very lively discussion from the Broncos fandom. Cool. So first hot take is Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy are out of excuses as wide receivers. They need to perform or not be Broncos anymore.
Yeah, you know what their excuse has been? They didn't have a quarterback to throw him the ball consistently. Tim Patrick's been great when he does get the ball thrown his way. Courtland Sutton had an amazing season before with Drew Lock, actually. Lock and Sutton had a nice connection. Mm-hmm. Jeudy, you could argue, is the biggest question mark there in terms of production. But I think he might be, in terms of route running, not just the most talented player in that group, but possibly in the entire NFL. And I think they will perform. Now it's going to be I don't know how much Russ is going to actually spread the ball around. He kind of hones in on two receivers historically. And if I had to bet on those two guys, I would say it's Sutton and Judy. Okay. But yeah, Russ is going to be good. We're not going to be talking about excuses. We're going to be talking about how the Broncos have two receivers going for over 1,000 yards this season.
Okay, fair enough. All right. And out of
hot
these
take,
three,
hot take.
Okay. Which of these two receivers do you think is most inclined to go over 1,000?
Sutton and Judy. Easy.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Patrick will have like 800 yards third.
Okay, so close to. Wow, that's a lot of receiving yards. So this next one, I do have a caveat a bit. Broncos clearly have made a lot of offseason moves, a lot of change going on. However, I found this kind of interesting. The Broncos' best offseason move was hiring Nathaniel Hackett.
Ooh. I mean, that was great, but it was acquiring Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Because hiring a head coach, I think, is a lot easier than executing a trade for a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. Now, best maybe meaning like Hackett might be the guy who gets the most out of Russ Wilson, and the fit with Hackett and Wilson and the way they do their offense might be like outside of Russ just being good, might be the thing that takes the Broncos to the next level. So I kind of get where they're coming from there. But, and I just talked about how like Hackett coming in over Fangio and Shermer, like the attitude and the feeling is completely different for the Broncos. So I can kind of agree with this, but it's second to Russ.
Okay. Fair enough. And then the final hot take, and please, forgive me. I am not a Broncos fan. I don't follow them as closely as I do the Rams.
That's why I'm here.
It is why you're here, exactly, and I appreciate you being here. Broncos fans just seem so giddy and like hard, like passionate defenders about their running backs, and so it's the Broncos' running game will be the best in the NFL this year. Williams and Gordon are the best 1-2 punch in the NFL.
Hard agree right here. Again, I'm working on a running backs episode that I'm going to post later today.
Looking forward to
that. So I was
that.
just kind of like digging in on Williams and Melvin Gordon. First, I think Melvin Gordon is an underrated running back. He has one or two. All of his fumbles seem to be untimely, and that's what he gets recognized for. But he's a solid back. Both in a bad offense last year, they each had 900 rushing yards, which is pretty good. So like my multiple 1,000-yard receivers, I think Gordon and Williams will each go for over 1,000 rushing yards as running backs. First time since D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, right? So I think that's going to happen. Okay. And Javonte Williams, I'm looking for he had 63 forced missed tackles last year, second only to Jonathan Taylor on 129 fewer carries.
Wow.
So I think, in my opinion, Javonte Williams is the next Marshawn Lynch. I know that's crazy to say. That's an incredible hot take. But, like, he's that punishing of a back. And I think Russ gets a weird rap, like he doesn't want to run the ball. I don't think that's true. I think a lot of his success is based on play action. And I think the Broncos are going to get more carries out of those guys in more effective situations. So, yeah, I'm excited for those two guys.
Cool.
Awesome. Specifically Williams. I think he was really good as a rookie, but I think he's going to get more carries and take a bit more of a leap in this second year. So that'd be my guess.
Well, this has been
Bye-Week Hot Takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
Yes,
But
that was bi-week hot takes. And just quickly before we get back to the schedule, Grandizer did have an interesting question here. Is there a draft pick you really love / wanted that the Broncos picked in the 2022 draft? Like Wattenberg.
No, I mean, it's kind of weird because they didn't pick until very late in the second round. And I don't watch any college football really.
Yeah.
So like the amount of guys that I would have really wanted or been knowledgeable about, small to start with. I did like the Nick Bonito pick when they made it. I think edge was a position of need, and I think they got a really good player. Now, Luke Wattenberg, I don't know much about, but I know Brett Coleman was high on him, I believe. No, maybe that was the edge rusher. I forget. But center is kind of an interesting position as well. If he's really good and Lloyd Cushenberry kind of doesn't work out, which there's a chance that happens, and he comes in and is a great center, then that might just be like one of those sneaky good draft picks. So, but right now, high on Nick Bonito. I think he can make the biggest impact immediately with Chubb and Randy Gregory kind of in rotation. I think he can come in some situations and get some sacks.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we do have we're through 8 weeks of the schedule, and Brandon has predicted a 7-1 start going into the bye week. Coming off the bye week, what? Oh, just the dream of 7.
Just laughing that I have given them just one loss. So,
hey, that's okay. This is called MOOF, which stands for the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. If there's ever a time to be optimistic about your team, it's this time of year.
It is 100%.
So week 10, you are traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Any concern about this game?
Yeah, I would be concerned a little bit about Derrick Henry. But, I mean, I think the Titans got worse this offseason on offense. Their defense is great. Their pass rush really scares me.
Yeah.
But the Broncos have done a really good job against Derrick Henry the last couple times they've played. So I'm going to give Denver the win, 8-1.
Okay.
People are starting to talk about Russell Wilson as an MVP at this point.
You know what? That was almost a hot take of Russell Wilson will finally get an MVP vote this year.
One MVP vote, guaranteed.
Yeah, a single one. And then you have a home game, second game with the Raiders. You had them beating them earlier in the year. Are you going to sweep the Raiders this year?
Yes, they sweep the Raiders. Raiders fans can finally shut up on Twitter and in my comments about us losing to the Raiders. They think the Broncos are the same team that they were the last 6 years. Wrong. So they sweep the Raiders.
Okay. So 9-1 after week 11, and then you head on the road to Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Yeah.
A lot of people are predicting the Panthers to be bad this year.
Yes, I agree.
Hot take. Wow.
I think Matt Corral gets his first start in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey probably not playing because he can't stay healthy. This is a decisive win for the Broncos on the road.
Okay, so you're at 10 wins, and you're 10-1 on the year. And at this point, Broncos fans would no doubt be like having defibrillators next to them just because they're constantly excited about their team. And then they travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, win or lose in Baltimore.
Oh, that's going to be a tough game. Ooh. I mean, the thing that hurt the Ravens last year were injuries.
Yeah.
I think they'll be healthy. I think Lamar Jackson will look a lot better with his running backs behind him, Dobbins and Edwards. This is a tough game. I'll give this. This will be the Broncos' second loss, just because Lamar Jackson's so good. Never gets enough credit. That's a tough game in December on the road.
Okay, fair enough. I do see Grandizer given the tie their possible AFC playoff game preview, maybe. Toon Link also thinks the L there. So, okay, so, Ravens are always a good team, right?
Yeah.
But now we're getting into the juicy. This is the part of the schedule I am
This is
most
the
excited
gauntlet.
for.
This
The gauntlet.
Yeah,
Ooh,
this is
good,
the
good word.
gauntlet.
Yes, the gauntlet. You start this week 14 home game, your first divisional matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. You're in Denver. Win or lose.
That's a must-win game for the Broncos at home, prime time. We snap the losing streak to the Chiefs, which we know is like a billion games.
Yeah.
Like the Raiders fans, Chiefs fans can stop talking trash to me. We beat them at home. The defense, for the most part, usually is played competitively against Kansas City. They just have gotten nothing out of their offense. That changes. Big win for the Broncos.
Fair enough. So lots of emotions behind that win for Broncos fans. So you're at 11-2. I do see we have our resident Seahawks fan Squabo saying he is not happy with the Broncos taking taking their Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
11-2, and then Ram fans are going to be cheering you on again. You welcome in the Arizona Cardinals, but this is the part of the year that Cardinals are often not at their best. Win or lose against Kyler Murray and the crew.
They win. Broncos win. I think it'll be competitive. DeAndre Hopkins will be playing after he's served his suspension. Will J.J. Watt be healthy on defense? I don't know. They have a lot of playmakers on defense. It's just they underperform, and they did last year late. But I don't trust the Cardinals. I just don't. So, and I don't trust Kyler Murray. He's weirdly sometimes the best quarterback in the NFL, and then like just one of the most average players at other
Very
times.
streaky.
So that's a win for the Broncos.
Okay, wow. This is 12-2, and then
Sitting pretty.
My favorite game on the Broncos schedule, Christmas Day. You travel to take on the defending Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams, in the beautiful SoFi Stadium. Win or lose. Remember, most of my subscribers are Ram fans, and they already just complained to me how the Clickbait Sports disrespects the Rams.
Oh, not me.
No,
not me. Okay.
It's more Grossi. People think Grossi doesn't like the Rams.
I don't think he respects Matt Stafford enough. I'll give him that. I'm going to give the Rams the win here.
Okay.
Christmas, it's going to be kind of weird. I feel like the Rams are going to need a win more than the Broncos at this point, even though they're both in competitive divisions. And I realize I have not given the Broncos a lot of losses. Road game on the Rams, unless like something happens to Aaron Donald or the receivers, I really like the addition of Allen Robinson for you guys. So that's going to be a tough game. Rams win in a close one.
Okay. Ramley rejoices. It's a Christmas miracle. We appreciate that response. We always love it. So 12-3 on the year. And then again, I still think the schedule makers kind of did this weird putting the Kansas City games so close together like this. But week 17, you travel to KC to take on the Chiefs for the second time. Are you going to sweep the Chiefs?
Yeah, we're going to sweep the Chiefs. The Broncos, this game, if they win, they're going to clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC. So it's going to be big for them. Obviously, Arrowhead's tough to play, especially in the early time slots. But, the Chiefs, I don't think Chiefs fans are understanding how good Tyreek Hill was.
Yeah.
And obviously, Mahomes is insanely talented. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. And by this time, I think they will have figured out how they function without Tyreek Hill. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have a good season for Kansas City. But it's time to return the favor, and we sweep their Kansas City butts, and we do it big.
Okay, wow. I do see Squabbo asking, do you like the Chiefs this year? Like, do you think they'll still win the AFC?
Yeah, they're going to be good.
Yeah,
they're going to be good. They'll be a wild card team.
Okay, fair enough. Well, 13-3 after 16 games, one more game left. So by this record, you've kind of said the Broncos have locked up that division. Maybe there's in play for the number 1 seed if they haven't already secured it. Your final week, you are welcoming in the division rival Los Angeles Chargers. Do you think this game will matter? And do you
Not
think
for the Broncos? No, not for the Broncos. Definitely for the Chargers. Chargers get the win here. And by beating the Broncos, the Chargers take the final playoff spot away from the Las Vegas Raiders. And we have the opposite of what happened last year. Chargers get in, Raiders are out.
Okay.
Broncos finish what? 13-4?
13-4. That's your prediction. Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, again, Perna, thank you so much for representing the Broncos fandom on MOOF. As you look through their schedule, there's lots of fun games here. The Broncos are definitely going to be one of the most fun teams to watch. Do you think that I will just take one more question here from Jake is, what do you consider the bare minimum for the Broncos to have a successful season? Is it playoffs in your mind?
Yeah, playoff appearance. Like once you get into the playoffs, I feel like everything kind of changes. But as Broncos fans, we just want to be there. So, I'm being obviously very optimistic here.
Perfect.
That's the AFC is going to be so competitive that you could see like an 11-6 team miss the playoffs. But I think, playoffs is the minimum, and really at least one playoff win I think they need. I think they got to get there, whether that's the wild card round. They got to get one win. And then, if they lose like a heartbreaking game after that, we'll be ready for the next season. That would be just a joy to see our team back in the postseason.
Okay, awesome. Well, Perna, thank you so much for tuning in. If you can just stick around, we'll chat just afterwards. And everyone else, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of MOOF. Friendly reminder, we do have our 8-hour charity live stream coming up September 8th, where we're going to be talking football for food insecurity around the world. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode of MOOF.